everyone. I am happy and thrilled to welcome you to Stacked After Hours Season 7. This is our premiere night. I am so thrilled to be here. I am your guest host, Janice Cosby Adams, and you will understand in just a minute why I am the guest host. Because as you know, Stacked After Hours for years has been talking about relationships and love, and especially to the Gen X generation. Tonight, boy, it's a love story. This organization, this Stacked After Hours was built on love. And guess what? Love has truly blossomed. So today, yes, we're still going to keep it lit and enlightened. And today, we're going to talk about love after 50. Is it possible? Should it be intentional? Tell me. We're going to ask you two questions, and you can ask us questions about love after 50. So let's see. Let's start with our couple tonight. This couple who I'm going to introduce tonight, I'm sure you've heard of them and you know them. They started at Bumble and now they're going to the altar. We're talking about a couple who came together through Stacked After Hours. And the first person I'd like to introduce to you is my beautiful sister. She's the creator, she's the innovator, she's the person who started it all. My little sister, Natalie Cosby. And she is joined by her soon-to-be husband, her fiance, and my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Mr. Keith Walker. Let's welcome them to Stacked After Hours.
This is different.
So happy to have
Yes.
you. We flipped the script on you, didn't we?
We
Yes.
did. We totally did. This is very, very different.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So I want you all to loosen up, relax, okay?
Mhm.
And you can tell us as much as you want to tell us, but we want to dig a little deep tonight, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is just a wonderful, and everybody is so happy for you. And as your big sister, I'm just really excited about Keith becoming a part of our family.
Yes.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So my first question to you is, tell me what your life was before you met. What kind of relationship were you in before you met? I'll start with you, Natalie.
I was single. I was newly single, hanging out with my girls, living life. And I newly single because I was coming out of a really dysfunctional relationship, something to do relationship, as we always do sometimes when we are 40 and I was in my 40s trying to figure things out. But it was COVID. I was hanging out with my girls all the time and there was no male energy around.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, okay. But I was single, healing, and then also navigating like, what does dating now look like in my late 40s?
So were you dating at all, Natalie?
I was trying the apps. I was on Bumble. I was just like, this actually sucks. It sucks. Like pure D sucks. And so I was thinking to myself, there is no way I'm going to connect. I'm used to meeting people out and about and like going to clubs, or if you live in New York City, I was living in Brooklyn. So men would come up to me on the street. I had never had a problem in meeting guys. That was probably the problem, that men would come up to me on the street and I was dating their asses. But I digress. I mean, I think one of the things is it's just like, so I was like, okay, I got to figure out this Bumble thing. Like I was on Bumble, like I think that was the one I most actively, and I had talked to a couple of guys and I was like, you know what? They're not for me, but they actually may be for some of my friends. And I had a girls' weekend with my girls, and I was like, I love y'all, but we need some male energy.
Mm-hmm.
We need some male energy. And that's kind of what started Stacked After Hours a couple of years. It was literally a Zoom call where I was like, let's do a mixer. Let's figure out how we can connect with people. So I was literally trying to figure out, I was recruiting men for myself and for Stacked After Hours to come into the Zoom so we could connect. Because if anybody knows, when you're online and you're trying to text, it's like, it's literally beyond arm's length to really connect with someone.
Okay. All right. So Keith, same question. What was going on in your life?
Separated in COVID. Yeah, I was married and separated during COVID. And to Natalie's point, found each other on Bumble. And luckily, I was a first round draft pick. So I had to step up my game and make sure.
You was probably second,
That was
but it's
round.
okay.
In my head, I was first round. So we're going to leave it at that for now.
Okay. Okay. So were you dating at all though, Keith?
No, I literally just was on a dating app, just seeing. I talked to my son about it. He said, Dad, you know what? You probably just need to just try to meet somebody and see what's going on, just to have a conversation. And literally 2 weeks, no, not even, a week and a half after setting up Bumble, that's when we connected.
So you didn't go out with anybody else that you met?
No, I did.
Okay,
I talked to 2 other women at the time.
Okay.
And it wasn't worth my time.
Okay. So what made you swipe? What was the connection? I mean, was it something that was in the profile? I've never really done online dating, so I don't know how it actually works.
I can answer that question. So let me say, for me, it was taking a look through Natalie's pictures and seeing her in different spaces and enjoying and being herself. Mm-hmm. So you get a chance to see her personality through her pictures. So I'm a person that I'm attracted to a person's energy and their smile. So if you take a picture and you're like that the whole time and you're just not out doing anything fun, to me, that means instantly that's not my vibe. So
that's the lesson, ladies. That's a good tip.
That's what it was. It was not, not the bathing suit picture and all of that stuff. That's not necessary, at least for me. I just wanted to see, how you looked and how you socialize and what your activities were. Because like some people would post that, they did this, they were a gym rat. And then when you talk to them, they go in the gym maybe once a month. I'm like, okay, you're not a gym rat then. So you kind of have to talk through and figure out what's real versus bullshit.
Okay. So Natalie, what made you pick him when you saw him?
You know what? I think I was in my mind, I wanted a Southern boy. He went to Dillard. I went to Xavier. We were in college at the same time. So I wanted somebody with kind of the same foundation I had. And I also wanted somebody who had already been married.
Okay.
I was very clear about that. Like somebody who already had kids. And so when you look on Bumble, you'll be like, do they want kids? And I'm like, no. I'm like, praise the Lord. Because I was just like, my eggs had dust on them. So that was not happening. Yeah. So and his smile, just his pictures, back again to his pictures, they seem very genuine. Okay. And so there was a sweetness to his face to me. Oh. I didn't believe he was 48 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, this Negro is lying. He is literally 28. He is not 48. He just looks so young. So I was just like, I felt like he looked healthy.
Okay. He looked healthy. Okay. He looked okay. He looked
safe. He did. All his teeth were there.
Right.
Like all the key stuff was there. So I was like, okay.
Exactly.
He's cute.
Okay. So let me ask you something. So who messaged who first? Who reached out? I mean, who decided we're going to go out and meet?
So on Bumble, the woman, I guess because it's considered Bumble B, I feel like the woman we have to initiate that we're interested first.
Okay. So you initiated first and you reached out and you said, I like you. Do you like me? Right?
Something like that. Great. Something like that.
Well, I mean, from what I remember, it's been a while, but I think once we connected, then it says, oh, you have a match. And then she has the opportunity to reach out to me and say either text or whatever the case would be.
It was I think it started off as text.
Yeah, text. I think it's a message within the app, and then you can decide if you want to text or whatever after that.
Okay, since we're on the topic of dating apps, what would you suggest to Natalie, women? What should they do and not do very quickly on an app? What do you think?
On an app?
On a dating app. Yes.
If he responds and you're interested, be like, let's FaceTime to make sure it's him.
Okay. Wow.
Make sure it's him. You're not getting catfished. And if he does not FaceTime, move on.
Right.
Okay.
or if he does not want to talk on the phone, move on.
Wow. Okay. Keith, what do you think?
The same thing. And I would say, from a guy's perspective, FaceTiming is hugely important because guys get catfished in some way too. But what it shows when a guy, and I'm just going to say it from a guy's perspective, if you FaceTime me immediately, and then that way I can talk to you and we got a real vibe to see what we got going on. To Natalie's point, we were dating during COVID, so we couldn't really get to go out and have a conversation or go somewhere and go have coffee or do whatever like that. So we only had FaceTime. So It actually worked out to do it that way. It worked out to be an advantage. But what it also does is if you FaceTime that person immediately, they really don't have any entanglements. And when I say that, meaning that, how some people will, a text and then you get a response 7 hours later or whatever like that. If you call me immediately and you FaceTime me, I can't hide, right? So you get to see exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing, and how I'm moving.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move forward. Let's move forward in the, you're getting to know each other. You're starting to go out on dates. Tell me about the dating process. I mean, did you see each other a lot after that? What was that like?
It took us, I feel like we met actually Valentine's Day weekend. Yeah. And the first time I saw Keith was on Stacked After Hours.
Right.
So it was it was a lot of conversations.
Wait a minute. The first time you saw him was on Stacked After Hours?
So that same night we connected on Bumble. I was like, I'm about to go on to my show for Love Language. And I was like, do you want to join? And he's like, sure. Yeah. So that's how I actually kind of connected the dots. And I was like, he's really sweet and cute and interesting. And it was a bunch of other women. One of my girls messaged me. It's just like, he didn't reach out to me and I'm really interested. I was like, well, girl, pause on that one. Put a pause button on that one. I was like, I kind of reached out to him. I want to see what happens. Right. But we didn't go out for the first 6 weeks. First of all,
I was still married.
He was technically still married and living, and technically he had moved out.
Moved out yet. No.
He had moved out. He hadn't moved out yet. So he told me that actually after our first real conversation.
Right. That's good. Okay.
So he was very candid, and I was like, okay, well, let me know when you are able to go out and whatever. Right. So it took us a minute. It didn't happen overnight.
Right. Good for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good for you. So Keith, when you went on Stacked After Hours and you've got this woman who's got this show, and she's very independent, she's very outspoken. What did you think because you hadn't really met in person? No. So what did you think of Natalie? Because a lot of men sometimes are, just my little commentary, can be very intimidated by someone like Natalie, who's, very strong and opinionated. That can be intimidating to some men, not all men, but some men.
I agree with that. And I think that, to me, if you're intimidated by a person that has a strong personality, then that says a lot about you and your character. And for me, I welcome that, because that means that you have an opinion, first of all. That means I can have somebody that I can have an intelligent conversation with, which for me is hugely important. And I want somebody that I can actually banter back and forth with, that can give me a valid opinion that I can trust and respect. Because if you can't do that and hold a decent conversation, and you have kind of like a doormat personality, that's not exciting for me. I need somebody that is, how do I say this, strong and vivacious and strong in their convictions, but also that has the ability to listen and understand. And, just the first couple of conversations we had, I got a chance to see, just scratching the surface, who she was as a person, which I thought was really cool. And the other thing that really attracted me to her was, once I found out she was a yoga teacher, I was like, oh, okay, you got your own yoga studio, you have your own business. I was like, hey, I like this entrepreneur spirit. To me, that was attractive. So all of those things were like, oh, all of these boxes are being checked. So let's see where this goes.
So when did the love connection take place? When did you start feeling the ooey gooey type of thing where, this is my lady, this is my man, I got to be with him, I'm owning him? And who was the first? Go ahead, just start there.
Let me say this. The fairy dust. The fairy dust started for me after after our conversation with love language, I was
Yeah.
like, this is a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I ain't had no grown ass man in a minute.
and the fact that he knew about the love languages.
The fact that he knew about the love
Yes.
languages,
Mm-hmm.
but also, and I'm going to say this to the brothers, the fact that he was honest to me at the first sentence that he told me that he was still married.
Right, right.
That meant so much to me because I saw that as a sense of respect.
Yes.
But instead of leading me on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about it in a very mature way. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I like this dude. I was like, I know and I never thought I would like some man who is still, coming out of something that is probably over, but contractually is not over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it forced me to be like, you know what, Natalie, you need to pause and give this patient if this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be. But I had kind of had butterflies then.
No, and I remember that time as your big sister, and I do like the fact that you were even honest with us about that. And of course, Keith, you would understand this. We were concerned.
Absolutely.
But you came through everything that you said, the timing of what you said you were going to do, you did. You stuck to that. And I really, really appreciate that and have so much respect for you because you did. You didn't linger and lead her on. So that really says what type of man that you are, the type of man that my new brother-in-law is going to be. So I really, really do appreciate that. So I was gonna ask this question later, but I'm gonna ask it now. So who said I love you first? Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
what made you say it, and what was the setting?
So for me, I'm a big softie. I don't exactly remember the setting, to be honest with you.
Natalie's face.
Yeah, I know. I kind of knew it, and for me, like you said, sis, I'm a person that whatever I feel I believe in showing and sharing as much as I can, especially when I feel vulnerable with that person, because it takes a lot for me to feel vulnerable. So the minute that I felt that, I wanted to share that with her so she knew exactly where I was, because I believe in trying to be transparent as I can with how I feel and how I think about things, especially if I'm comfortable with sharing that. And for me, sharing positive emotion is super easy. So I'm a hugger. You guys know that for me, I just enjoy sharing that. And for her, once I felt that with her, I was like, my gosh, I'm in love with this woman. I got to get my act together now and make sure I'm ready to be present with her and for her.
Wonderful. So Natalie, when Keith said that, sometimes when, we're in a relationship and one of the parties in the relationship says, I love you first, you kind of feel pressure to say, I love you back. So how were you feeling at that moment when Keith said, I love you?
I've always been gun shy in saying it, but I think for me, I wanted him to say it first because I had been feeling it for so long. So it was like, okay, finally, like I'm not crazy, because I feel like sometimes when we say it first and we don't hear it, we're like, oh my God, am I crazy?
Right.
Did I shoot off too soon? Does he? And then we go through all these head trips about it as women. So it was such a relief. I was like, oh, I love you too. I was just like, I was vulnerable, but I was like, okay, I can let some things really go. And it helped me to kind of unpack, like, oh, Natalie, you still guarded about certain things, but
yeah,
it's safe. It always felt safe, but hearing somebody say those words can just kind of help you take off that other layer that's holding you back.
Okay. So after that, you know that you're going to be a couple and you're dating, you're hoping that this thing is real and it's going to last forever and ever. So at what point did you bring in the family? Because, we are the Cosbys.
Yes.
And it's a lot of us, and we are a lot. And, also knowing your status, your previous status, we have a mother, Connie Cosby. We love her. We, dearly love her. She's, very opinionated. She's a wonderful person.
Yes.
And, you were facing an army of opinions.
Not an
no.
army.
No, it was
Not
an
an
army.
army.
It was a little bit of a gauntlet, but it's okay.
Oh, oh.
It was a little
I
bit.
mean, he was. I mean,
And rightly
Right,
so.
right.
we're like a
Rightly
little
so.
army,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
like a
And
little
yeah.
tribe, if you will. And so, how did you handle that? Were you nervous when you first met us, or what did you think? I know Natalie probably gave the 411 on all of us. So
So let me say this: nothing can prepare you for the conversations that we have all together. She gave me a
with the
Nothing.
Cosby,
warning, but there's
Nothing.
no words that can kind of do all of that justice to be able to say it. You guys aren't a lot, but what I do appreciate is that you're honest and direct at the same time, and you show how you care about each other and how you care about Natalie. Because to your point, sis, she's the little sister, so
yeah,
everyone's trying to make sure she's okay. So even the conversations that I had with Trey, and I know Trey is super skeptical at first,
that's
and
one of our young brothers.
anybody that knows Trey knows that he's not he has a sixth sense.
You're right.
If he likes you, if he likes you, if he doesn't, he doesn't, and immediately. So it took Trey a little bit to warm up to me, but after that, we're good now. So we compare shoes and talk about notes and talk about food and music and everything. So we're good. But to your point, how do I say this? It wasn't any more than what I expected, and it wasn't any less. And I think it's fair because having anybody come into your family, you want to make sure that they have their best intentions at heart, right? So I was prepared for that. And I think it was kind of the same thing, especially my son grilled you. I know that.
He
So
did.
yeah.
He did.
So go back. So tell them about you have how many kids? You have three.
I have three kids. I have three
Adult.
kids. Yeah, three adult kids now. So my son is actually now I'm a grandfather as of just after Christmas. So he, is my six bitch chains basically. So he talked to Natalie, wanted to make sure how she was doing and all of that stuff, and really talked to her about everything. And then my oldest daughter, kind of the same thing. She actually helped you on a couple of projects too. So they got a chance to build a relationship too. And my youngest daughter, which I'm a little bit of restrained with right now. So I'm trying to, because of the divorce, I'm trying to build that back up so we can have a relationship again. So that's my challenge. And my goal for 2026 is to make sure that we're good again from that perspective. But it's kind of one of those things, like I said, that my kids are my kids. And I think, of course, you talk to my mom. You know how my moms are. I would say this, just like Miss Connie, my mom is super critical and my dad is too, but they absolutely adore Natalie.
I know you said that from the very beginning. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because given my past relationships, they've seen, what I've gone through and the goods and the bads. So after meeting Natalie, they were pleasantly pleased. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, you finally got the right one." No
so
offense.
why do you think that is? I just want to tap into that a little bit. Why it is that? Because I remember you saying that a while ago that, my mom, she just loves Natalie. Why do you think it is? What was it about Natalie that was different, that she felt that she was the one for you?
Yeah. So I think it's two things really, primarily. It's just that she got a chance to meet Natalie and see what kind of person she is and to see how genuine she is, that she cares about me and everything that's going on with me, both, to help me be a better person and to hold me accountable too. So she loves that and she appreciates that for me. And then she also sees the joy that Natalie brings when she's around me. So those two things I think really are the biggest thing. And that's what we talked about. And funny story that I talked to my mom was yesterday, and she said, "Oh, well, I just talked to Miss Connie tonight." I was like, "Oh, really?" So
I didn't even know that one.
They're best buddies now. So
that's so sweet. That's sweet. Yes. So now you seem like you want to say something.
I was going to say, I think the funny thing about Keith and his kids, I mean, it's very a blended family and a blended family. And I come from a blended family. So understanding the dynamics of, I'm not your stepmom. I am the girlfriend about to be the wife, but it's important that we have a friendship, a kinship, as somebody who loves your dad and wants to understand, like, get to know you better. So it's an interesting dance. And I feel like it's something that I am definitely learning to navigate as an addition to his life and in addition to their life. And they're grown and they have opinions, and also helping him navigate relationships that may feel estranged and trying to put that back together, but not fix it, but just be candid about what I see and also what I experience in my own blended family is just some things that I'm also kind of learning as we get to understand each other.
Yeah, and it's really helpful having that background and experience because it's things that I don't think about quite from her point of view, having gone through things as a kid. And it helps me get a different perspective and understand what I should do and how I can move differently. So I appreciate that 100%.
And the other thing, his family is very quiet.
Yes.
And our family.
It's not.
Yes.
It's like
Opposite.
polar opposites. We are loud and opinionated, and I love it.
Yeah.
But when I go to, it's like, oh, okay. I think one time it was so funny. The first time I did Thanksgiving with them, I was watching the game, and I was like, shit. And his mom came in. She was like, "What'd you say?" I was like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "Ooh." And because in my family, we just be cursing at the TV like it's nothing. Like, but I was like, "Ooh, I'm in this woman's house." I know she is like, "Who is this hoodlum child?" My son has gone.
So listen, just answer briefly. What advice would you give to someone who is navigating a relationship and there's a blended family, there's grown children, maybe younger children? What quick advice would you give them? Because, when we get to this age, your age, Natalie, Keith's age, there's usually an ex, maybe two exes. There's a child. There could be two moms. There could be two dads somewhere. What is the most practical advice that you could give someone who's trying to, work on to get through a relationship like that? Because there can be great relationships. But some people are afraid.
You can start.
I would say ask questions. Ask questions to the person you're dating. What is their relationship with their kids? And or family. And then, if they don't bring you around, to me, that's a red flag. So, you need to meet the people that are important to them. And I gave myself a window. I was like, if I haven't met certain people in a certain amount of time, I was like, this man is not really, serious.
Right.
And I just, because I feel like when you sometimes you want to keep things precious for you. But I think I told Keith when I first met him, he asked me, did I want to get married? And I was like, I do, because I've never been married. And he was like, oh. And so, but I said it with confidence and without a blink in my eye before I did not do that. But I was very clear. I was just like, I also want to understand who is in their lives. When he told me he had 3 kids and, all these things, I was just like, I wanted to understand who he was and how he showed up for them, because that's also reflective of how they're going to show up in our relationship to a certain extent. So.
I got you. Keith, what advice would you give? And then we're going to go. I want to introduce our sponsor for this evening.
And I would say, from my perspective, having been the one that's been married before, I think it's one of those things to where, number one, you have to be open and honest. And when I say that, it's hard sometimes when you have a past to share that past. But you want to do that if you care about the person that you're with, and be okay with talking about the things that were good and the things that weren't good, because your past, understanding someone's past, is understanding who they are. It's not necessarily all of their baggage, yes or no, because you got to kind of sift through the baggage. But it's still, like we talk about, because I entered a relationship, was I ready for that? Right. So you have to process all of that and be open and honest about where you really are with things and the things that concern you. And the other part is, I would say, just being open to having someone else's opinion heard and not being in your feelings about it. Because if somebody's telling you something that they think can hear, it's probably because they care about you, not because they're trying to judge you. Right. And I think that's the hard part sometimes, is we get in our feelings about stuff without really opening and listening to what the other person has to say, no matter how it comes out. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably the hard thing for some of us to do, is to open up that part of our lives that doesn't include that person, and then have to deal with their opinion or try to explain things and understand and have that open conversation. But I say be open and honest and just talk about it, and be open as much as you can, because don't be, like I say, overly sensitive or overly critical either, one way or the other.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's great advice. And, we really need that. But I want to just digress a minute, and I want to thank our sponsor for today. We have a wonderful sponsor, the Black Adult Society. They are tonight's sponsor. And the Black Adult Society is an organization created to empower and connect Black adults 40 and above through curated content and purposeful programming. And if you look at your screen, you can see the QR code, and the basic membership is free. So please join Black Adult Society today. Thank you so much for being tonight's sponsor. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Black Society. Appreciate it.
Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, I'm going to move to where we are today. Okay. But wait a minute. Let me go back a little bit, because Keith, I don't know if you remember when I visited you all in New York, we had the conversation about, how long do you wait? How long should a woman wait?
Right.
Remember all those conversations?
Yes, I do, sis.
Yes.
I did. And so I was really playing big sister.
Yes.
And so I would, I don't know if you remember, but I would look at my watch.
Yes.
And I would say, what would I do? That's exactly what I would do. I would do,
yes.
Keith, when I do that, you're running out of time, brother.
Right.
I gave Keith 2 years. I gave you 2 years. But it ended up
but it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay now. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to tell you something. I will admit that I was wrong for even doing that. I was totally wrong. It was none of my business. I was out of line. People need to get married, be together, or not be married. It's on them. It was none of my business, but I did.
Right.
And I was looking out for my baby sister because I really wanted her to get married. I knew that she was in love with you. She, and that was her dream. And I also wanted it. And I think I told you this because I wanted Connie Cosby to see her daughter get married. I told you that.
Yes.
So I am grateful and thankful that this is happening. There's nobody more excited. Well, I'm sure there are, but I'm just thrilled that Natalie, she's happy and you all are in love. But I do want to ask the question, why so long?
No, it's a fair question. And to your point, sis.
Why did it? Because I'm serious, because I think a lot of women, honestly, Keith, would have just say, okay, I'm kicking you to the curb. It's 2 years, it's 3 years, it's 4 years. Hey, buddy, when's it coming? But Natalie, she believed in you. She stayed. So I do want to ask that question. I'm asking for the women out here who have been waiting on the ring for a long time. Come on, tell me.
It's a good question, and I don't mind a question. But let me just say this: based on what we were just talking about, to me, that's one of the things I always appreciate you guys' honesty and openness about that. And if I can't handle those kind of conversations, then I'm not secure in myself, right? So that's number one. Because however you feel about it, I have to take that in and understand why you feel that way, and understand that why you're saying what you're saying, right? That's number one. And then number two, I have to not take that personal to say, okay, well, what is that about me that you're saying that I got to do something or I got to jump to that? Because as you know, Jan, I move to my own beat.
Right.
I do things when I'm ready to, and I try to make sure that people are clear on what my intentions are and understand why I am and why I am with that. So if you remember when we had that conversation, I said that, yeah, we're on the road to that. That's something that I want to do.
You did.
And I agree that we need to do. I have to get a couple things squared out of the way first. So of course, Miss Connie. I love Miss
She's
Connie.
watching, baby. She be in the bushes.
Miss Connie's always there. But my point is, and I'll make it quick, it's just to your point about, and I give this advice to the brothers and the sisters, you can't rush when you're ready to be married, right? Marriage is a serious thing. And after I have been through it, the times that I have already twice, that I want to make sure I was going to this and I was ready. Not necessarily about her, but I wanted to be ready and be able to show up for that. And I knew in my mind that, okay, number one, financially, I got to get 2 kids married first, because during the time that we met, my son got married and my daughter got married. So that was a huge investment to make sure that I had money set aside for that. So I wanted to make sure, let me take care of those financial obligations first before I go out and buy a ring. Let me make sure of how you're going to move with my family too, because I wanted to see and understand that more. And I wanted to make sure what my place was going to be in her family and by her side, because again, after going through the things that I've been through, I'm a lot more aware of what can happen when you marry into a family that you're either not fully accepted in or you don't fully accept, because those things have become part of it. So for me, I think that's really what it was, is really making sure that we're both good and we're moving in the right direction to be married together, because there was things that I needed to heal in myself too.
Right. I get it. So let me ask you this for the folks, the ladies and gentlemen, and in particular my ladies who are listening to you from a man's perspective. So when do you know, though, Keith, that it's never going to happen? I mean, you could have just kept talking and I'm going to do this. I got to get my money right. I got to get my kids married. I got to get my younger daughter married. And she's 5 years old. I'm just saying, I'm not saying she's 5. I know she's
right.
Can I say something?
What do you do with that when how do you know? Because men say that all the time.
So, and you can answer whether I did this or not. To me, it's having those conversations and being intentional about moving through it and saying, okay, here's where we need to get to. Here's what I need to be comfortable with getting married. And I think that's the hard part about it. We're not always honest with ourselves and honest with our partner to say, here's what we need to do. And sometimes it's hard to have those conversations and say, hey, you know what? I'm just not ready yet. And here's why I'm not ready yet, because you have to admit what's going on with you to do that. And everybody always talks about know thyself. But that's really what it is. You really have to know who you are and be comfortable with sharing that with somebody.
You know what? There was a show like a year ago, and Keith said he did not want to get married. And
I remember that show.
Because everybody's like, did you hear it?
I remember that.
Did you hear it?
We were
Janice came out. She's like, he don't want to get married. What you gonna do? I was like, girl. I was like, you know what? And I even called. I think I had called somebody else. I think I had called Sunshine. She's just like, he did say it. And I was like, my world was crumbling, but I was just like, I need to talk to him and talk through it.
Right.
And I think even Ann asked, it's just like, was it going to be a deal breaker? It was a turning point because I was just like, woo, child. I was like, I don't know if we're going to make it. I don't know if we are going to make it because, and my mom was watching the show.
Yeah, we were all watching it. Yes,
everybody was watching it, right. And it was another couple that we were interviewing that is no longer together, and it was just like, but wait, and we had went through a time where I was just like, if this is not happening,
right,
I need to be out, and we had.
And I think, did you see Ann's question on the screen? Because I think you're going into that because Ann was asking, was it a deal breaker? Would you have stayed in a long-term partnership without marriage? Would that have been fine?
I don't think I would. It was something I wanted to experience. And I was just like, if he does not want to experience, I love him and he's a good man. But I was just like, I wanted him to be open, even though, he did have 2 marriages that failed. This was my person in my head. But I feel like also my person wants to take that journey with me if he's open to it. And the reason why I was just like, it's not going to be 2 years. It's going to be on our timeline, right, not everybody else's timeline. But I was like, when he said that, I was like, oh, we got a timeline. That's what happened.
Okay. So let me ask you, Keith, because Natalie's never been married. She doesn't have kids. What do you see yourself doing differently in this marriage that you feel you may have made mistakes in your last 2 marriages?
Well, let me say this. Life, if you're open to it, will give you experiences and teach you what you're good at and what you're not good at. So the one thing that I would say is, especially in my last relationship, going through marriage counseling, I think really prepared me to be not only a better person, but a better husband and a better father, because it taught me to really look at myself, be honest about where I am with things, and actually try to communicate really what I'm feeling instead of holding it in. So Natalie will tell you, sometimes it takes me a little while, especially when I'm upset about things, to really share, but she knows instantly where I am. So I have to be able to, she gives me space to process that, to move that on. So to answer your question, I think what's different and what I've learned is a lot more about myself and how to express what's important to me and focus really and know what's really important to me. And when I say that, meaning that just being able to have a relationship to where we have a mutual trust, respect, and honesty, those are key characteristics that I need. So I need to feel comfortable in that. And then also what I've learned is I have to show up consistently too. And that was something that I didn't do always show up consistently. I would focus, too much on work or too much on whatever else I was doing and not necessarily on my partner or what my kids do. So I had to learn that about myself and say, okay, I can make space for all of these things. And if my family, like I'm saying, is really important, then I need to make time for that.
So question, are you 2 lovebirds going to go to premarital counseling before you get married?
Yes,
we talked about that as well too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
We got scars.
Right.
We got baggage. I look, trust me. I have learned a lot about myself,
Yes.
and I realized like being in relationships, that's where you actually learn the most about yourself.
Absolutely.
Not sitting at home. I'm not saying that being by yourself you do learn things, but because you're reflecting
Yes.
about how you showing up for that person, and also like what you're not getting, what you're not communicating,
Right.
your own boundary, not even boundaries, but guardrails that you put up that you don't even understand that exist.
Right.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
let me give you just one example on
Go
that.
ahead, Keith, because I've got a really good question I have to ask.
Because I was going to say is that sometimes it's interesting for us, and what we learned about each other is sometimes we think we're communicating one thing, and then we play it back to each other, and we're like, oh shit, well that's not really what I meant. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to see, to take the pause and take the time to make sure that we're both really understanding each other, even though we're using words that we understand. But sometimes words get lost in what you're actually feeling, right? So that's what we learned about each other. So we take time to give each other space and grace to get to actually express our feelings.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, so here's one for you. When you met, let me start it this way. Natalie has changed over the last few years. She when you met her, she was a different person. She was a different type of person, and I'm sure you were too.
Yeah.
But physically, emotionally, she's lost a lot of weight. She's very athletic. She's changed her hair. I mean,
changes hair every week.
Natalie was huh?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but she changes her hair every week.
Well, that's true. She's always. I have so many pictures of Natalie's hairstyles. It's just crazy. She could be one magazine of hairstyles.
Exactly.
100 pages.
Right.
But you know, when a lot of times, and I've heard this said, a lot of men say that, you know, I want you to be the way or the size you were when I met you. I went through this recently, you know, a couple of years ago. I lost a lot of weight. I was really into my intermittent fasting, really, really heavy. And so, you know, my husband, Dean, he was like, I don't want a skinny woman.
Right.
I want the
and lose that ass.
Yes, he's like, boom, you know, I got to have that.
Right.
I mean, it really caused a lot of friction.
Right.
In our relationship. And I had to gain some weight back on purpose. And then that's when I really started hitting the gym and doing my squats because, you know,
got to work it out.
Yeah. Good look. Yes. Thank you. So I just wanted to understand, how do you feel? How has the change? Because she has a different body.
Yeah.
Honestly, she looks fabulous. She looked fabulous before, but there is a difference. So I just wanted to know how you have handled that. How has there been an adjustment?
That's a really good question, because at the time I never dated anybody. Let me say this: never started a relationship with anybody that was heavy. So for me, originally that was something that I had to say, oh, okay, this is fine, because at our age, and that's a good point about dating.
Was it really fine?
No, it was seriously, it was. Dating over 50, I think, is one of those things that you have to realize that who you're with now will change, right? And me being married before experienced that. So I knew whatever I'm going in with now, that's subject to change, for good or for worse, whatever the case would be. So I have to ask myself, am I going to be okay with that? Because I've had to learn to really look at the person and say, okay, is this a person that's going to grow with me, and we're going to grow together in a similar direction?
Okay, Key, wait a minute. I'm going to stop you being too philosophical. I just want to know if when Natalie lost the weight, were you, you know, did you feel different about it? Or
no, quite the opposite, actually. I didn't really feel any different about it, because to me it was, and I'm sorry for being philosophical, but for me it's about her happiness, right? It's more about her being comfortable in her body and her skin. So she's a more vibrant person now because she's lost weight.
But did you like it? Did you?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love her regardless of what size she is. It doesn't really matter. But to me, it's about how she feels. And that part I love about her. So I got a chance to see the difference in her, because she was always a go-getter, always running around doing stuff.
Absolutely.
But now the level of commitment to her physical fitness, and not necessarily her appearance, it's her physical fitness. And I want to make sure we talk about the distinction between the two, because those are very different things. She's not so much into how she looks, but she's more concerned about how she feels. Mm-hmm. And that part to me is hugely important. And I love that about her.
Right. Natalie, what do you have to say about that?
Yes and no. So I feel like Keith would be like, "You look different."
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know it's kind of shocking when people see me, and
Especially in person.
especially
Yeah,
in person.
Especially in person.
I know, especially when it's in person. I get it. I feel like the one thing, and what Keith is, he's competitive,
yes,
even with the woman he is with,
yes,
right? So he's like, I can't be the fat one in the relationship
yes,
too.
exactly.
So I mean, I need us to be real, babe. Like
That's
I feel
true.
like it. I think it shocked him a little bit to see like
You're right.
how much weight,
Yeah,
or I guess how, I don't necessarily the weight, but how it showed up on me. It kind of, I don't necessarily know it made him feel some kind of way. I feel like he felt like he needed to step up his game
yeah,
Mhm.
great.
to match.
And I think that's typical. I think that's
I
Wait,
think it
typical and
is.
often
yeah, great
I
example.
think that
So
can happen.
yesterday we were going. It was yesterday, day before yesterday.
Day
So
before
we
yesterday.
have, for those that don't know where we are, we have 11 flights of stairs in our apartment complex. So I was climbing the stairs, and I've been doing that a couple of times to just try to get my knee back together and get my fitness
Mhm.
back up. This one decides to do it with me, and she takes off, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you left me freaking behind."
You've been doing it for weeks.
What
She's
the
a
hell?
marathoner, honey.
Exactly. So I
Olympic.
was in my feelings a little bit, but to her point, yes, I am competitive, but I love that competitive spirit because guess what? It drives me, it makes me try to be better too. So I think that's the part about our relationship. We constantly try to help each other improve. And
I, I think also it's kind of cute when he's just like, you can't go outside without me.
yes, exactly. Not wearing that. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're not doing that.
Yeah, Natalie's wardrobe. I mean, she always dressed very provocative at times, but boy,
Yes.
I mean, it's yeah.
You're a little
So
different now.
I mean, either way, I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that we motivate each other in a weird competitive whatever
Yes.
way it
Right.
is, but I feel like it's healthy.
Yeah, it is
It's
healthy.
real. We can talk about it. Sometimes he had injured himself, and I was in my 75 hard stage,
Oh yeah.
and we started walking, and he would yell at me. He's like, "You're leaving me,"
Yeah, I was in my
and I was
feelings.
like, "What's in your feelings?" Because he's just like, "I can't keep up," and I was just like, "Okay." I was like,
Yeah.
I'll walk with you, babe. Just say that. You don't have to, you know. So I understand. And I think as women, especially at this age, there's a sensitivity that we don't always account for when we're with someone. We may see it as weak or soft, but it's really just their
Yeah.
own sensitivity.
Right.
They have too. Shit, they human. They feel some
Right.
kind of way
Absolutely.
when they can't show up the way they want to, and that's okay. And I appreciate that.
Right. Right. So we're getting near the end. We're hour 20 in, and I'm going to give it just 10 more minutes. Let me ask you, what advice would you give to a couple who is, especially an older couple who's thinking about getting married? What should be the first thing that they think about before deciding to get married, to make that commitment?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would say talk about everything from where you are mentally,
Yeah.
where you are physically, where you are financially, where you are like, what do you guys have the same vision
Yes,
for
that's
your
hugely
latter
important.
years in life? If you're a traveler and he is not, or if you want to see the world and she is not, I don't think that's going to work. Like, make sure that you really enjoy each other and date.
Yes.
Like, actually date. Don't have somebody who is a seat filler, like just occupying space because you don't want to be alone.
Right.
Like, really find out what you like at this season in life and be able to explore that. Because most of us, I mean, Keith is an empty nester. And I think this is the first time Keith has been in a relationship where it has not involved taking care of children. Or
Yes.
so
Absolutely.
he actually gets to enjoy being a partner with full attention. And I love that. So I think it's an opportunity to really understand what you like now. And I think people don't enjoy dating now because they too busy worried about like trying to figure out like how they moving, what's the agenda. Everybody got an agenda, y'all. Everybody has an agenda. Like, we are all trying to figure out, my agenda is like, how do I maximize my joy and enjoy these latter years?
Yeah, and I would say that I echo that too. But I think the biggest thing that I would say, the first couple things you look at is, are your goals common, right? Because you have to think about, are your objectives common? Do you have a common background? Because in getting at this age, we all have some baggage that we have had to deal with to get to this point, but it's really about how you're going to move forward together, because you're not, how do I say this? If you want somebody to be your partner and you're really ready for that, what does that really mean to you is the question you have to ask yourself and ask that person, because partnership is different for different people. So at this point, you may have somebody that wants to travel and the other person's fine with sitting home. But if you're a person that loves to travel independently, you may be good with that. But if you need your partner to travel with you, then you got to ask yourself, is this the right person? And I think, Jan, we talked about this before.
Right.
It's not about having all your boxes checked, but it's about knowing which boxes are really important.
Right.
That those things that are things you cannot absolutely live without in a partnership. And I think those are the questions you have to ask each other and be honest and real about it. I think that's the hard part, is we're not honest enough with ourselves first, and we're not honest enough and real with each other.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I think that's actually great advice. And we all need it. And I think it's so important that you have so many things in common. If you know, traditions. I can't be with someone and they don't like Christmas. I
Right.
love Christmas. My family loves Christmas. So that was,
Exactly.
and I've been there. I've been with someone who didn't like Christmas, and it was a disaster.
Yep.
So you need to find someone who you have a lot of commonalities with, and you really like to be with, and that you really like them as a person. I just think that's very, very important.
Absolutely.
Janice, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you got remarried at 60, right? At 60-ish?
58. Was this 60? 60, yes, 60.
60.
Yes. We've
So
been married 7 years.
right. So
52.
what have you just learned about yourself in this past marriage? And what advice would you give people who are going to get married now that you've been in it?
Tables are turned.
That's not fair, folks.
I know
part of the deal.
fair for that, but I mean, we sit up here talking, girl.
It's a conversation. Come on, sis.
You know what? I have learned to not listen to the noise. I have been, on that executive, vice president, chief marketing officer, and I have learned, and I think, let me just back up. I think that people sometimes think that because you're an executive, you should be with an executive.
Right.
If you are a doctor, you should be with someone like a doctor. And I think it's more about compatibility. Do you like the person? Are they fun? And I think that in the past, I married for sometimes the wrong reasons. And I also married people who liked me, so I liked them. And that's awful. That's terrible. And so, I respected the people, but I don't know if I was necessarily in love with them. So I think it's really about being honest. You have to really have yourself together. You need to have a really serious, honest conversation with yourself before you get into an honest, serious relationship.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. And, my relationship with my husband, I have fun. We like each other. We like all the same things. We like to travel. We like holidays. We like the same foods. It's just, there's so much in common that it's just fun. And I think you have to still keep the dating alive.
Yes.
You still got to keep it smooth and sexy. I don't care what you say. You still do. You have to keep it there. And that's so important. So I've really learned a lot. But I really try to work on myself. And I in the past, I married good people. They were all good people. They just weren't the right people for me. And I think sometimes we get so caught up that we want to be married. I just think we have to be careful sometimes, just slow down a little bit and be honest with ourselves. Because, when I think about it now, I really wish that I had stopped myself at the altar.
Interesting. Wow.
I really do. I mean, if I had been more secure with myself, I wish I would have stopped. And the other thing is, and listen to some people who really loved me.
Right.
I'm talking about not just girlfriends and acquaintances. I'm talking about some people that I knew that really loved me, that really said, Jan, you stayed too long. I should have listened to them.
Yeah.
So, because, they know you, your family knows you. and your good friends who care about you, they know you. So I've learned a lot.
Yeah, but I think, Jan, to your point, the common thing that I'm getting for all of this is whenever you enter in a relationship, you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
You really got to know who you are. You're not comfortable with who you are. You put a lot of that negative energy on.
We're just bringing a whole lot of mess through the party.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Erica Badu said it best. You got to pack light. You can't carry a whole bunch of bags with you.
Yeah. And, especially that person has baggage too. So
yep, absolutely.
They do. That's what I'm saying. We all got baggage.
Yeah.
Just baggage. And if you don't admit that you
have
exactly.
it, that's the key.
You're in trouble.
Right.
You really do. You just like, oh, they ain't there. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we're wrapped up, we're packaged, and we look pretty on the outside, but boy, we can
sometimes mess exactly on the inside. Yeah, I know. We're talking about this the other day. I know so many people that are grown that are still teenagers because they haven't emotionally gotten to that space to where their adult self in age and experience matches up to their emotional self. And I think that's one of the things that's hard as we go through this, that we don't ever really take time to learn ourselves and grow forward emotionally. We still stay at that little hurt place from a teenager or whatever before in past relationships, being kid stuff, but we never take time to really grow forward as an emotional adult. That's the hard part.
I think also my final thought is also a lot of relationships start because you got unfinished business in other relationships that you have not dealt with.
Yes.
And it shows up.
Yes. We bring it in.
Bring it in and thinking that relationship is going to solve the unfinished business that you haven't resolved in that relationship. So I think that's when you do that, you're setting up the relationship to fail.
Yep.
But something, I think, and that's why I'm so glad, and we're getting ready to close. I just have these quick questions, but I believe that older marriages after 50 are the best. I think, and that's the reason I love going to weddings when older people are getting married, because they're sincere, there's joy, there's real joy and love that is just palpable when you go to a wedding like your age. I mean, I cannot wait for this wedding. I'm just over the moon joyful about it. I just can't wait. I mean, I love weddings because I could be a wedding crasher. I love weddings. So if anybody invite me to a wedding, I'll be there. But I'm just so thrilled for you all. And like I said, you're going to have a wonderful life. I'm so proud of both of you. Finally, Keith. But yes, I digress. Anyway, and I'm speaking for Connie Cosby. Finally, thank you.
Yes, I know. I've heard it.
So again, listen, I do want to thank our sponsor again, the Black Adult Society, for their support. But wait a minute, before we go, I do have these quick questions, so put them back on the screen, Montaigne. I'm going to do these questions, and I just want you to tell me. You can point to each other, say yes or no, really, really quick, and then we're going to close out. Okay. This will really tell me how much you know about each other. Number one, who is the first person to apologize in a fight?
Both of us. Yeah, we both do. We generally don't fight.
Okay. Who is the funny one? Yeah, okay. I knew that. Who is more patient? Okay, good. Who is more likely to be late for an event?
No! He takes longer to get dressed. Stop it.
Well, yeah, sometimes, but not all the time.
I'm always ready first. I get that. Go ahead.
You do get ready fast. It's like you're not made, and then all of a sudden you're like, boom. She's right. You are fast. Okay, I believe that. Keith, I think you would. I can see.
I take my time.
Keith sometimes be in the mirror a little long. Let me.
I hear you. Getting them locks together.
Exactly.
Okay. Who has more friends? I already know that one. Who is more romantic? Oh, really, Keith? All right, Keith. Go, Keith. All right. Who is more likely to recommend couples therapy? Okay. Who is the neatest? I know that. I know that's right. I've lived with them. Okay. Who spends the most?
It depends on what it's on.
It depends on what it's on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who said I love you first? We already know that.
Right.
He did. Okay. Who initiated the first kiss?
Yes.
You fast thing, you.
I know. Fast. It's a Cosby thing.
She liked to win for it. I ain't mad at that.
Who is the best gift giver? Gift giver.
Actually, no.
I would say it's probably whatever, because we both give each other stuff. We're not really gift people, but
We're
we buy each
not.
other stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're very thoughtful for each other.
Good, very good. Who is grumpy in the morning? Oh, Keith, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person. She is. She wakes up and be ready to go and go exercise. I'm like, oh, sit your ass down. Yeah.
Okay. Who is stubborn? Okay, and the final question, who requires the most attention? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have for you, folks. It is a wrap. I want to thank you, Natalie and
Thank you,
Keith.
Jen.
I'm so
Appreciate it.
happy for you, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen. There is life and love after the age of 50, after the age of 60, 70, and 80. It's still there. Keep working on yourself.
Keep hope
And
alive, baby.
love will find a way.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Keep hope alive, always.
Yes, keep hope alive.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, this was awesome.
Yes.
We're going into the after party. We're not going to be there long, but come in and we'll continue the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you, Black Adult Society.
Yes,
thank you,
Black
Nina.
Society. Appreciate it.
Oh, shout out
Thank
to
you,
the
everybody.
folks.
Thank
Wait a minute,
you.
is okay, Madison.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you,
Madison.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Connie Cosby. Thank you, Dana.
Dana,
All right,
cousin Dana. Sunshine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Monique. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody. Coming to the after party. Thank you, Jan.
Thank
You were
you, Jan.
great.
Great.
host.
It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.